love, and welcome back to my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about your fear of success, more specifically your fear of success around confidence and around money. You're not necessarily afraid of the success itself, it's the fear of who you have to become in order to hold your next level. Because every time you upgrade your life, there is a part of you that has to die. Every new level comes with a new devil. Now I am going to jump straight into the confidence side of things because we're jumping straight in. Now confidence is something that we all say that we want. I want you to ask yourself, can you handle having more confidence? First answer, okay? That is what is either going to allow you to go for it or it's going to hold you back. And if you're a bit like, oh my God, I'm not sure, that's a no. It's either a fuck yeah or it's a no, okay? That is the analogy I always use. And when I talk about confidence, I'm not talking about just like quietly being like, yeah, I like myself, like I'm a nice person and yeah, I like me, like, you know, I don't mean that. I mean confidence as in I love myself, I back myself, I'll take up space and I'm not apologizing for that, right? And also when you're confident, I will tell you a little fact, you stop speaking from your throat and you start speaking from like your stomach. Like you actually project your voice when you're confident. And what I want to talk about here is when you increase your confidence, you change your social positioning. And that's where the fear is going to kick in. Because when you were growing up in school, you were not the popular girl or like the confident girl, but you sat with people who judged the person that had confidence. They said things like, oh, she's so full of herself, she's so big-headed, she's so arrogant, who does she think she is? And you were hanging around people that said that about the girl that was so confident. You are going to have subconsciously a belief that attention is dangerous, right? And your brain is already thinking, well, if I become more confident and I become a bit like how that girl was when I was young, then am I going to be able to handle people watching me? What will people say about me? What if my friends start to say that about me that they said about her? What if I come across as arrogant? What if my friends don't like me anymore? And that's what's secretly running in the background. I just want you to think about when you were growing up, what did you hear about the woman who was so sure of herself? What did you hear about the woman who walked into rooms and her head was high and she wore what she wanted to wear and she owned the space? What did you hear about that woman? Or what did you hear about the popular girl in school? Because if you were the one who were overlooked or you was the quiet one, then becoming powerful now feels so unnatural and it feels so unsafe for your system. And internally, you probably have a bit of a rule book which is saying, if I love myself, I'm full of myself. That confident women are bitchy. That confident women get judged. That being too sure of yourself makes other people uncomfortable. They're like subconscious rules. It's like a rule book that is playing in the background that's been there since your childhood, based on what you saw, based on what you felt, based on what you heard. It's there, right? And it's always been there. So you basically learn to be slightly smaller because belonging felt safer than your brilliant. Because the person that had brilliant and owned the room, she was judged. So you took on a belief when you were younger that actually you have to be a bit smaller, you have to be a bit more relatable to have these friends and sit at these certain tables. And because your system is predicting, if I fully back myself, I'll be disliked. If I say what I want to say and I say it with my chest and I am fully embodied in that and I'm so confident, and if I shine with confidence, I'll lose connection, I'll lose relatability, I won't fit in anymore, I won't belong anymore, people are going to judge me, they're going to reject me. It's an internal rule book and it's running in the background. And because your nervous system values connection as survival, you have learned to always dim your light, to play it safe, to play it smaller. So that's why you're not allowing yourself to go for confidence. It's probably also a reason why you haven't started to work with me yet, because you're like, well, if I work with Gazina and I become confident, I'm going to lose connection, people are going to judge me and I can't handle that. And that is okay. We're not here to shame you. I'm here to shine a light on it for you to go, oh snap, that's me. I had that belief. That's an internal rule book that I didn't even know was like sitting there until you've actually just brought it to my attention. So right now what's happening is it's easier for you to stay working on your confidence rather than deal with the consequences of actually having it. I want you to remember that you always behave in accordance with your beliefs. So if confidence equals arrogance and that's your internal programming, you will never allow yourself to fully step into it. I want you to imagine if confidence had no negative connotation. Imagine if loving yourself didn't mean losing people. How different would you move? The future version of you that you want to be, that has the business and the freedom, she has to stand out, she has to have confidence, right? So all we need to do is need to disrupt the rules around confidence, because right now they're just limiting beliefs. They're beliefs which are strongly held opinions and they're not facts. It's not a fact that when you are confident, you're arrogant or you're big-headed. It's just something that you've heard and we get to disrupt that. Right now, if you don't have confidence, you've got a quieter voice, your shoulders are rounded, you're looking at the floor a lot, you're not really looking up, you're not expressing yourself, you wait to be spoken to, and you're not owning the room. Now, the second part to this is money. You can be afraid of making more money because you say that you want more money. Let's say you're making 3K months right now and you want 5, 6, 7, 9K months, whatever the number is, right? You say that you want more money. The reason that you can be scared of money is if you believe that making more money makes you less relatable, you're gonna cap yourself. And I had this with one of my clients actually, where she is somebody who would buy something a bit more expensive and her friends would go, oh, well, why wouldn't you buy like the own brand? Why wouldn't you go for the cheaper thing? So then she started to interpret it as, when I spend my money on the more expensive thing, I'm always going to get comments and then I can't relate to these people. So does that mean I have to spend less in order to fit in, right? So if you believe that making more money makes you less relatable, you're going to cap yourself. You're not going to fully go for it because it's that like fear of, I'm not going to be relatable, I'm not going to fit in, like people aren't going to like me. Again, it's just a current limitation based on a rule and on a prediction that if you make more money and if you're seen with more money, you're going to be disliked. So you're going to fear making more money, right? Your brain wants to keep you in a place where you belong, where you're loved, where you're safe as well. So essentially right now, like when you think about making more money, if a part of you fears that you will no longer be relatable, it's going to also start predicting isolation. So even if you say you want 5, 9, 10, 20K months, your body is going to be associating that with separation, judgment, and loneliness based on your past experiences, but based on also what you hear, what you heard, and what you felt as well. So because of that, you then act accordingly with those beliefs. That if I make more money, I'm arrogant. If I make more money, I'm greedy. These are all beliefs, and we behave in accordance with the belief. So that's why right now you undercharge, you hesitate to raise your prices, and you also hit a plateau that is just below discomfort, right? You're pretty comfortable where you're at. Right now, you make an amount of money where you can stay here and you can live here and you can be happy here, but you know that you can have more, but you're comfortable, and subconsciously your brain is going, no, we're going to stay here, because when you have this much money, you're relatable because you're also working on making more money, and that's what everyone else is doing, so you can have that type of conversation. Whereas if you're the person that makes the money, well then who are you going to speak to, because you can't relate to this table anymore? It's all subconscious predictions and it's happening unconsciously, which means that you're not even aware of it. So here's the truth that you need to hear is success requires the death of who you are right now, and that is terrifying, right? When I say it out loud, it's like, oh my god, what do you mean death? What do you mean a part of me has to die? But I need you to realize that to become your next level, something has to get left behind, and it's got to be the limitations. It's not your friends, it's not your family, it's the limitations, it's the limiting beliefs, right? Because what we want to do is as soon as we disrupt that, you no longer procrastinate, you no longer overthink, you no longer hold yourself back, because then success starts to feel safe. You can say that you want both, you want to have more confidence and you want to have more money, but if there are fears around that, or there are limiting beliefs around that, or there's a future prediction subconsciously based on what you've heard, felt, and seen growing up, your body's not going to allow you to go there. Your brain will not allow you to go there. When we break the underlying belief that is causing this, break the belief, you automatically change the behavior. Here's the paradox as well. When you own the level of success that you want and the confidence that you have, you start to attract people at your level. So right now, you're here, right? And it's all really relatable, but you want to be here. You have this next level self-vision. You attract people at that level, right? You attract different people, different conversations. These people are still in your life, but you're going to attract even bigger opportunities because you're owning it. So that sense of belonging doesn't actually disappear, it upgrades. You belong in even bigger rooms, even bigger spaces. And that's when momentum finally starts to move forward. Not because you're working harder, you're hustling harder, you're like trying to do more, but because you stopped protecting an identity that no longer fits, because you disrupted the rules that are stopping you from going all in. So if nothing is moving, despite how hard you're working, I want you to ask yourself, who would I have to become to have what I want? And what am I predicting would happen if I become her? Because until your nervous system believes that it's safe to outgrow your current identity, you will unconsciously stay exactly where you are. And it's not because you're not capable, but it's because you're loyal to who you've been and you're loyal to this identity because this identity is safe. I'm sure you know already, I do have a program called Disrupt the Pattern. Now, inside this program, we are literally dismantling the current internal rulebook you have that is stopping you from going after the thing. So if you do want to explore some options of us working together, all you need to do is DM me the word disrupt on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram here as always, and we'll basically just explore the options, see if we are a good fit for each other, and then we'll take it from there. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like this content, please drop a like, please also subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.